Hi, welcome to GeoVision video tutorial for Central Monitoring Station series. I'm Derek Ho.
I'm Pearl.
We too are going to be the trainer for this video, so let's get started. Let's take a quick look at the outline here. We will talk about the goal for this video tutorial in the next slide, and we're going to introduce what is the main role and features of each single system. And we're going to share a successful story came from our customers who have experience using CMS. And for live demos sections, I will show you guys how to connect either IP devices or multi-CAN system to CMS. And for the FAQ sections, we're going to select the mostly asked questions from our Q&A pool. And the goal for this video tutorial is to show you guys the features of CenterV2, Bsm, and the dispatch server. And I will help you guys understand the main differences between these three systems. And like what kind of, under what kind of situations, which solutions we should use. And let's go for the first one, GeoVision Vital Sign Monitor System. Okay, so what is VSM? VSM stands for Vital Sign Monitor, and the main role of VSM is to receive a text-based event alert notification from either IP devices or multi-CAN system or even recording server, and we call all of them as subscribers. Basically, the features of Bsm and CenterV2, they are pretty similar to each other. However, the biggest differences between these two systems is that Bsm is a text-based event alert service. On the other hand, CenterV2 is a video-based event alert system. Let's take a look at the network structure here. Bsm is able to support up to 1,000 subscribers, and because it is a network-based system, not only GV-IP devices, but also for the DVR, NVR, and even recording server can be connected to Bsm. The following section are the minimum PC spec for the software and the hardware. Bsm support both editions of 32 bits and 64 bits, and for the operating system, it supports Windows XP, Vista, 7, and Windows 8. For the license requirements, basically it is required to purchase a dongle when you use Bsm software, and we have a 5 option here for you guys to select from, and it is able to have the multiple features included in one dongle. So let's take a look here. The first one, which is a single feature, Bsm, and you can have a hybrid feature such as Bsm plus Control Center, Bsm plus CenterV2, or Bsm plus Dispatch Server. Or you can even have triple features, which is Bsm plus Control Center and plus Video Wall. For network connection, the main purpose of this slide is to show you guys what is the advantage of adopting Bsm. As we talked about in the previous slide, Bsm is a text-based event alert notification service. Because of that, Bsm requires a low bandwidth usage comparing with the CenterV2. So let's take a look at the reference data. As you guys can see here, for the recommended bandwidth, we only need 4 megabits per second to support a large number of subscribers here, which is 1,000. So I would say the characteristic of a Bsm is his low bandwidth usage. Okay, once you log into the Bsm, this is how exactly the main interface of Bsm looks like. And as you guys can see here, this is a table called event table. Any event occur on subscriber side will be sent to Bsm and will be displayed up here. So you don't have to take extra step to look for the log information, because all of the information you need will be displayed up here, and which is very helpful. Okay, logs filter. Basically, this is a very useful feature when people are looking for a specific event type of log. What you have to do is you just go check the type and see like what kind of event log you're looking for, and you go specify the time period, and finally you click OK. And this is how you filter an event log. Okay, event chart is a feature to generate daily, weekly, monthly statistical data from different criteria, and this is a very helpful feature to help either administrator or operator analyze the occurrence of the different types of events on different subscribers. As we talked about at the very beginning of this video tutorial, not only IP devices, multi-CAN system could be connected to Bsm, but also it is able to have a recording server connected to Bsm. So like what kind of the recording server events could be supported by Bsm? As you guys can see here, the events such as camera status, camera motion, or camera connections, or the recording server and video gateway service on or off. And lastly is the desk status. All of events display up here. Once they're detected, there is going to be an error message sent to Bsm to notice the operator. The next feature is Add Remove Event tab. Basically, this is a very useful feature when you're going to search for various types of event tab. So let me show you guys what exactly this feature is. As you guys can see here, this is the main interface of a Bsm. Like we talked about in the previous slide, this is a table called Event List Table. All of the trigger events sent from subscribers will be displayed up here. So let's go find where the event tab located. So as you guys can see here, there is a selection code view, and we click on it, and you will see there is a selection called My Favorite Events. We tap it, and all of the tab selection will pop up. And in this case, I'm going to check motion event tab. And you will see the motion event tab will be displayed under the event list table, which is here. So when I go to search for specific events about the motion, I only need to click on this motion tab. So all of the information about the motion will be displayed up here, this is a very quick and easy way to search a specific events. A customized message is a feature to allow you to build up your own text color for different events. And once you're done with it, the customized events will be stored under My Favorite Event tabs. So let's go switch back to the Bsm. Okay, as you guys can see, this is the main interface of a Bsm. So let's go to configuration here. We click on it, and you will see a selection code customized message setting. And we click on it. And this is where you're going to customize your own text color for different events. And in this case, I'm going to select the camera motions. I select the camera motions, and I check the customized color here. And you just select the whatever color you like. In this case, I'm going to select the green. I select green, and I click OK. And before you leave this window, make sure you check the box, which is Add to the Customized Event tab. This is very important. So I check this box, and I click OK. You will see all of the events that related motions will be turned to green. And this is how you set up your own customized event color. The next feature is called subscriber information. So like what kind of information can we get through the subscriber information? We have a list of a couple points here. As you guys can see, the first one is able to view the storage and the hard disk spaces. And the second one is it is able to disable or enable the camera monitoring or I/O devices monitoring. And the last one is very useful feature for the administrator because it is able to view the hard disk status of the GV systems located in different places. And if you are looking for more detailed information about a specific subscribers, we have a storage status, camera status, I/O status, and even temperature status of the GV IP devices and capture card. The next feature is called Temperature Monitor, which is a feature that only supported by Bsm. The main role of this feature is to notify security guard when the internal temperature of a subscriber reaches a critical temperature specified. However, this feature only supports GV-System with the 300A and IP cameras, no target series cameras and cube cameras. Subscriber schedule is a feature to allow Bsm operator to monitor all of the subscriber. Especially when anyone the situation happens, a notification will be sent to Bsm. For example, when subscriber doesn't log in Bsm during scheduled time, a notification will be sent to Bsm. when subscriber doesn't log in the VSM on time, a notification will be sent to VSM as well. And finally, when the subscriber logs out suddenly during the service time, of course, a notification will be sent to VSM. Before connecting GV-System to VSM, you can decide whether you want the camera event sent to VSM or not. For example, I check all of the event here, means that once any one of events occur on the GV-System side, an event message will be sent to VSM. Before you connecting GV-System to VSM, not only camera but also I/O devices, you can specify which output trigger to notify VSM, and you can enable VSM to force output. And for the security service settings such as Momentary Mode, Maintain Mode, and Schedule Mode. For the Momentary Mode means that when the staff enters the office, the system starts monitoring. When the staff leaves the office, the system stops monitoring. And for the Maintain Mode means that during the business hour, the system stops monitoring. And during a non-business hour, the system starts monitoring. And also, you can have the system information of GV-System sent to VSM. And also, you can have the system information of GV-System sent to VSM. For example, temperature status, storage information, or notify VSM once the protection key is removed, login failed, and even multicam starts recycling. Okay, let's go for the next topic called CenterV2. So what is CenterV2? CenterV2 is an IP-based software designed for receiving instantaneous live view images or even messages from either GV multicam system or VMS when there is a motion detected or I/O trigger events. The main advantages of using CenterV2 is that it is able to reduce false alarm because central operators can view the live videos of events when they occur. Let's take a look at a network structure here. Because CenterV2 is an IP-based software, as long as there is network environments established, you can have your IP cameras, video server, NVR, DVR, even VMS connected to CenterV2 for instantaneous event viewing purposes. Okay, the following sections are the minimum PC spec for hardware and software. As you guys can see here, CenterV2 supports various operating systems from Windows XP to Windows 8. And for the CPU part, even though this is our minimum requirements, but we will recommend you guys to get a high spec CPU as possible as you can. The reason is that a high spec CPU will be desirable to take care a lot of the video streaming sent from subscribers at once. Okay, let's go for the license requirements for CenterV2. Basically, CenterV2 supports two types of license, which is our free license and pro license. For the free license, it supports 5 hosts with the 160 channels. And of course, CenterV2 supports other third-party IP cameras as well. And for pro license, it supports up to 500 hosts with the 800 channels. And we have the two options here for you guys to select from, which is our CenterV2 Pro and CenterV2 Pro plus Bsm. For the restriction, basically we don't recommend installing both the control center and CenterV2 dongles on the same PC. The reason is that even though these two systems are video-based software and they handle a large number of channels, but what if they handle a large number of channels simultaneously on the same PC? As you guys can imagine, the computer would get crashed. And this is the main reason why we don't want our clients to install these two types of dongle on the same PC. So what features does CenterV2 support? As we talked about in the previous slide, CenterV2 is a video-based event alarm system. So once there is a motion or I/O trigger events, a video image about the event will be sent to CenterV2. Okay, the next feature is called Customized Event Tab. As you guys might realize, this is a feature is not only supported by Bsm, but also it is supported by CenterV2. However, it is only available in CenterV2 Pro. I will show you guys where exactly the feature located. Let's go back to the CenterV2 first. Now we're back to the main interface of CenterV2. Let's go to setting first. As you guys can see here, there is a selections called My Favorite Events. And all of the checked event tabs will be displayed under the event message tables, which is are here. This is a very useful feature, especially when you're looking for special events. For example, I'm looking at an event about motions. So what I'm gonna do is just tap motion events, and all of the event about motions will be displayed up here. And this is how you set up the event tab. This is another feature that is supported by Bsm as well. First of all, we go select one of the event types here, and I'm going to select video lost, and I'm going to choose red color as my favorite color. And before leave this window, make sure you check this box, which is add to this customize event tab. And we check this box and we click OK. Then we're done. And once there is an event about the video loss, it will be sent to CenterV2. And this is how you set up how you customize the text color for different events. The next feature is called Event List Flag. What is the main role of these features? You can flag events with different colors to distinguish events from one another, and you can customize the flag name by your own self. And you will find this feature is very useful not only when browsing in the event list, but also when using the filter function to sort out the desired events. Alarm report is a feature that CenterV2 operators can generate a report to evaluate certain condition. So how do we file a report? First of all, in the reporter field here, you type your name and then click start. And there are going to be 6 report categories, which are event type, description, notifications, arrival, measures, and other. And once you're done your report, you just click end report and click save. And for the alarm report categories here, they can be customized and added to meet your needs. And the changes made here will be available on each report. The next feature is called alarm notifications. Means that I'm going to receive a notice once there is an alarm event detected. And we have 4 types of alert approach here. We have the invoke alarm, we have the output module, we have the SMS and email. And in this case, I'm going to select camera motion as my alarm notifications. Am I going to have an email method as my alert approach method? And once there is a camera motion detected, I'm going to receive an email. And this is how this feature works. Basically, CenterV2 supports two-way audio, and this is a feature to allow operator to communicate with the GV system. Let me show you guys how to turn on audio feature. Let's go back to the CenterV2 first. And what you have to do is move your mouse cursor on the live view window, and you will see a little microphone icon here. And you just click on or off. This is how you turn on and turn off the microphone feature. The next feature is called remote playback, which is a very useful feature for security stuff. Just make sure that before doing remote playback, the remote view log service on GV-System is enabled.
Hi, in this session, we will introduce I/O status for GeoVision Center-V2. GeoVision Center-V2 system will show the I/O status for each GV, DVR, MVR, and Gvip device. You will get the input status and output status from CenterV2. And you can also manually trigger the output device from CenterV2. Let's show the device and let's show the interface for the CenterV2 right now. This is CenterV2 UI. And when the subscriber connection here, right click, you will get a show I/O status. In this section, you will get 4 input and 4 output, and you will show the connection status about this trigger or not. You will get information over here. And you can manually click the output here, then you will get a force output option. Force output, you will get red dot like this back here. That means the output is currently being triggered. You can force output again and we stop. Okay. So this is a I/O status in CenterV2. Let's back to the slide. We can also get the event chart for each subscriber's information. So you can group all information together, and it will be the monthly, daily, or weekly report. You can get the pie chart or line chart or even the 3D interface that for the chart. Let's see the interface and for the CenterV2. configuration, and you will get an event chart here. The chart, you can check the daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay, let's check the daily report, and we will use the type for the example here. And you can list all data. This data could be the system information, the motion information, or the login information, or device lost, or the offline event. Click query. You will, for the message here, you will get the pie chart here. Okay, you will see this how much percent, like 75 count about the system information, and there are a lot of motion event here. The 48% for motion event here. You can get attachment information here, like it's 49%. Okay, and the chart can be the given type, can be column 1, line 1, or pie 1. Okay, this is the chart information. Let's back to the slide. Okay, repeat again. If the operator can customize the chart database, so you can select different system, will select different type of information to display in this chart. This is the subscriber information. The subscriber means the GV system, GV-DVR, GV-NVR, or GvIP device. When you make connection to CenterV2, you have to create an account. So this account have to be defined in CenterV2 first before any remote connection to make. So here we will show you how to create a subscriber account for each system for CenterV2 connection, and the subscriber ID and password is for use the GV-System 2 connection. Let's check the interface here. For the account, you have to click subscriber, click add. Okay, you can add a group to group information here. And with the account, or the single account, you can create account ID and password here. And user name, you can define the name for this account and have the address here. Especially for the email here, it is necessary to create for the notification event. When the notification event was sent to the email, so the email will be defined over here. And the result, let's check the result here for the Type A account here, information. Okay, we provide a name, address, email, and we will provide a phone number here. Okay. So this is an account for the Type A. The information, all the detailed information will define over here. This is the information about the subscriber before you connect to CenterV2. This ID and password will be the next for the before you connection to CenterV2. This is provided in GV-System. Well, after you connect for the GeoVision CenterV2, you will get live view, okay? And this live view have to be saved in CenterV2. But there are 3 different types, so you will learn how to do that. Okay. So there are 3 different types: it's line mode, attachment mode, and the live and attachment mode. So that's kinds of both attachment for the mode setting. Okay. For the first one, the live mode, the maximum duration will be the 5 minutes. Okay. And the recording are done on CenterV2 PC. So this is kind of a live mode, live in CenterV2. So live video recorded in CenterV2. Okay. This live mode is required the stable bandwidth connection, so you will get smooth video for the CenterV2 live view. Okay, and this is the attachment mode. The second one will be the attachment mode. So there's a pre-record option. You can get record by I/O trigger or motion, and you can recording is done on GV-System. Okay, so all the video created in GV-System before you send to the CenterV2. So that means this mode will a little bit slower than live mode because recording has to be done in GV-System first. Let's see the user interface about the live mode and the attachment mode. Okay, let's check the subscriber information here. And check the setting. You will guide for the live mode here. There are maximum for 5 minutes. Okay, for the recording. What if you check attachment mode setting? Be different. Okay, you got a more option here. It's pre-record and post-record can be done over here for the motion and the I/O trigger, the scene change, the video loss. And you can also define the size and motion, recording by motion or recording by I/O. You can define the size can be different. You can also define different alert interval setting. The alert interval setting here means each 10 minutes, if there are second event created, there is only one re-recording. So this is the live and touch mode for the subscriber. Let's back to the slide. This is the GeoVision system connection here. How to do the connection between GV-System and CenterV2. Okay. Since the CenterV2 is the central monitoring, but you have to create a connection from GV-System. Okay. So GV-System have to start a connection, then it then provide a user ID and password, and also provide a CenterV2 IP address. So make the connection from GV-System first. Okay. Let's show you the connection interface here. We will take an example about the BNS. Okay. The BNS here, you have to find the network connection about the CenterV2, toolbar, network, and CenterV2. Connect to CenterV2. Okay. They provide ID, password, and IP address. Okay. IP address, ID, and password. Okay. And make connect. Then you will connect to CenterV2. So your account will be type A. So let's check the information here for the CenterV2 connection. Type A account here. Okay, that's the one you make the connection from GV-System. You get type A connection over here, and these subject will show you which account and which the IP, the camera name following by the account. Okay, let's back to the slide. Since each GV-System have to use different account, so if there is 10 GV-System, you have to use 10 different GV-System account for each one, or they have to be different one. And this connection to CenterV2 at the second mode is panic button. So you can define an input button as a panic button, so you can try to get the information in CenterV2 until the CenterV2 that this GV-System current is in emerging case. So you have to deal this system first. Okay. So let's show you about the panic button setting. Okay. So in the VNS, again, toolbar, and this one, click panic button, then click configure, advanced setting. You can define. So this is kind of triggered by I/O, which one module 1, pin 1, output module. Okay, and this module to be triggered, that means the CenterV2 will notify this system is in panic button mode. So it kind of an urgent case right now. And before you define the button, you can also send cameras for CenterV2. So you can define which camera is critical. So it's critical to send even to CenterV2. So let's make the connect right now. You try to connecting, then it will not send to event to the CenterV2 until you push the panic button. Okay. So that's back to slide again. Okay. This mode, the panic button mode, is useful for bank and for the retail store. If there is any robbery, you can just push the button under your table and your CenterV2 will get this kind of event. It will mark as a panic button trigger. So it will be a very critical event in CenterV2. And there is more setting about the each camera and audio, and also with the tie sync function in CenterV2. Okay. Let's check the user interface right now. Okay. In this setting, again, toolbar, network, connect to CenterV2. Okay. And let's check the information here with the normal one for the configure. There is advanced setting for the CenterV2 connection here. Okay. You can define each IP camera over here or analog camera here. For that necessary to send to CenterV2 if there is motion trigger. You can get live view or that necessary to get live view. And there is a video analytic event here without the information is very critical for the CenterV2. You can define it. Okay, so each camera can be defined individually. Okay. For the IP camera or the analog camera, there is also with the audio, the live video and with audio. But the two-way audio is necessary to CenterV2 or GV-System, because you can talk and listen the audio from the camera or the GV-System. So operator can send information, send audio to the GV-System, the location, by central monitoring for the CenterV2. And there is a tie sync information for the CenterV2. And there is one more, this I/O device here. Okay, we will check the I/O device later. The I/O device setting and the security. Okay, the I/O device here, it means you can configure each input and output so you can define whether this connection to CenterV2 is necessary or not. Okay, so it kind of start monitoring by I/O device. You can start monitoring manually. You can also start I/O the connection by define the I/O the different pin. So you will get connection for the configuration by I/O. So there is also the different mode for the connection. The maintain mode, the momentary mode, and the schedule mode. Okay, the three types of mode we will define that as kinds of input. The information be defined for one input. For example, for the maintain mode means start event and stop by just one input trigger. Momentary mode is start and stop monitoring by different input trigger. Okay, and the schedule will be defined. The schedule time you have to be connection with CenterV2 is automatically. Okay, there is security mode here. Okay, you can allow CenterV2 to enable or disable I/O interface, and there the up section here is send to CenterV2 if I/O is triggered. Okay, and the security service means when you start monitoring and stop monitoring by different I/O definition here. So momentary mode, you have two different pin can be the option, but maintain mode there is only one. The input will be the option. Okay, and the schedule mode, of course, you have to be the schedule setting. So in the specific area, the period of time, and you will get a connection here. Let's back to the slide. Okay, so in a small conclusion here, the momentary mode will be the two input setting. One input just to define to start monitoring, and second one will be the stop monitoring. And the maintain mode means there is only one button. So this one button, when it's triggered, it will be monitoring status. When it's off, so not triggered, it means stop monitoring. So it kinds of a different I/O application in this case. Let's check the comparison about Bsm and CenterV2. Okay, the Bsm support 1,000 subscriber. This means GV-System, GV-DVR, NVR, or GvIP device. And the CenterV2 Pro will be the 500. They also support group, support live subscriber, auto login. Since the Bsm is only the text message, only the message is sent, so the event message is not the size of the video. So the bandwidth requirement is only 4 megabit per second. But CenterV2 could be the 25 megabit per second, because CenterV2 has higher the video usage than Bsm. So you have to be the better bandwidth for the CenterV2 in order to get the live video. The recording mode, since this Bsm is not support live video, so the recording mode is not support. There is only 3 modes in the CenterV2 Pro: the live mode, attachment mode, and pause. In this slide, you can check the keep date notify is only for Bsm. That's the difference about the CenterV2, and the storage information, and only for the Bsm. Okay. So there are two information that CenterV2 is not be able to support. Will be the keep date notify and the storage information. That's the two big difference. This session, we will start to introduce more information about the dispatch server. Okay. Before we start to tell you the dispatch server function, we might have to review the CenterV2 function first. Okay. The CenterV2 is event type message with video alert for the central monitoring. Okay, so you never know how many channel will got the alarm event in the CenterV2, right? There are maximum could be 800 channel for one CenterV2, or you can have a maximum 500 GV-System in one CenterV2. Will you be able to get all the message for all the GV-System if there is any one overloading or connection lost, right? But how about the CenterV2 itself? If CenterV2 itself, PC freeze or the CenterV2 disconnect, that means all GV system is not under monitoring. I think it's not acceptable. So the workaround solution here, you might think about to add more CenterV2 to make all the GV system connection in 2 or more or 3 or more the CenterV2 PC. However, will that be the balance loading for each CenterV2? No, you will never know how many alarm event will occur for each CenterV2, right? Okay, so the dispatch server is kind of a loading balance for all the CenterV2. You can have many more, the 800 channel or maybe more channel, right? For in your monitoring purpose, the dispatch server can hold all the channels for distribute for different CenterV2 loading. So that means even there is one of your CenterV2 fail, you still can get connection with second CenterV2 monitoring. So this is the purpose. This is the main purpose of dispatch server. And we will show you how to do this kind of setting with CenterV2 and GV-System. The dispatch server, simply you can take it as a loading balance for all CenterV2. So that means that one of CenterV2 is down, the second one still get monitoring for all your GeoVision system. In this slide, we will let you know more detail about the network structure, about the GeoVision dispatch server. Dispatch server actually provide the balance loading for different CenterV2. As you can see, the GvIP device connection here, and this is support about the GeoVision DVR and MVR over here, and this is a dispatch server. So it actually provides the all connection in this one stop. So all of the client, the GvIP device or the GV system, provide a connection with dispatch server instead of CenterV2. CenterV2 can be a different mode for the balance loading. So this is a network structure about the dispatch server. Okay, right now we will talk about the PC spec right now. For the Windows 7, 8, Server 2008 or Server 2012, this is for 64-bit. Since the dispatch server is just for distribute the balance loading, so actually it's not deal with a lot of video transmission over here. So there is not required the high-end CPU. So you can see the standard version is P4 3.0 with hyper-threading technology. Dispatch server requires license, which means you have to prepare dongle for installation and running GeoVision dispatch server. This dongle have to insert into the computer all the time. And the dongle, there are two different types. First one is dispatch server, and the second one is dispatch with Bsm. Okay, that means you can run dispatch server and Bsm in one computer. We also provide the solution for the internal dongle and external dongle. For the internal dongle, this is the internal dongle one. Okay, you see there is a pin, there is 4 pin on the bottom. So this one is for insert into your computer's mainboard. For the internal, the USB slot. That means when you order the dispatch server and with your computer, you are not necessary to insert the dongle outside, so the dongle can be protected inside the computer. Okay, And there is additional one like this one, the black one. Okay, this is very common for the USB dongle. So you have to insert it into your PC's USB slot. Okay, but this one, since it's inserted into the outside, so it is necessary to watch out that you have to always connect it in the computer. Okay, and this slide we have to mention a point that is very important. You are not allowed to run dispatch server and CenterV2 in one computer. The reason is the dispatch server is provide the loading balance for each CenterV2. So this computer have to be the unique one. You are not allowed to run it CenterV2 and dispatch in one computer. So since kind of a loading balance issue, so we have to use a different computer to run dispatch server. And the features about the dispatch server here, we will let you know more idea about. In this slide, we will let you know more about the dispatch server's features. The network distribution for CenterV2 is the main purpose about the dispatch server. So the CenterV2 covers the connection from GV-System and the Gvip device. So actually, from the for dispatch server setting here, all the GV-System and the IP device connection to dispatch server is instead of CenterV2. So dispatch server will cover the loading balance for all CenterV2 in this area. But you have to let dispatch know how to do the balance. Because before, all the GV-System and the IP device connection for CenterV2 only. But right now, this dispatch server will balance all the CenterV2, the loading in this area. So you have to let dispatch server define how to do the balance. There are two types of balance loading. The first one is group loading. The group loading means all the particular GV-System or Gvip device can be assigned in one group. So this group will cover by one CenterV2. So that means this CenterV2 can be predefined for the GvIP device and the GvIP CAN connection for this group. There is a second type, balance loading for CenterV2. So there is no group in this solution. There is only for balance loading for not busy CenterV2. So that means all the CenterV2 is equally busy for cover all the GV-System and GvIP device. So the dispatch server will automatically balance the loading for each CenterV2. Okay. And the dispatch server also provide the real-time event about the CenterV2, and you can also check the video attached from the GV-System and GvIP device. In this session, we will let you know more about the dispatch server features. The CenterV2 connection by dispatch server for monitoring. So you will get online and offline status in dispatch server. You can check the status and you can control the status on or off. Okay. I will show you the detail in next section. For the check the CenterV2, and you will get the log, right? So the log available for dispatch server and CenterV2. Since the log available, so that means you can also search the log by GV-System, ID, and event type. Okay. Since the connection available in dispatch server for all the CenterV2, so the bookmark is also additional features for dispatch server. You can flag the bookmark with all the log when you feel it's very important. There is also provide additional feature like failover. Okay. The failover means that one dispatch failed, and you can provide a second dispatch server to take over all the balance loading work. So these failover features can be defined before the connection, or when your dispatch server have to off or disconnect, you can provide the second dispatch server IP so that the service, the monitor service, not interrupt. In this session, we will introduce more user interface about dispatch server. Okay. Right now, you will see this dispatch server interface over here. The left column is show the all of your subscriber and CenterV2 list over here. And this one, this column will be the connection status about your all CenterV2. You will get online, offline status over here. And the bottom over here is show all each of the subscriber, more detailed information over here. Okay. If you want to check the log, you have to use view function and dispatch server log over here. So you can try to drag and drop the location that you want to display. And you can also check CenterV2 event log, the real-time event log. So it will be the real-time, all of your CenterV2 connection log over here. You can try to arrange it a full screen, or you can make it smaller or just fit your window over here. So the connection over here, it will display all the information about your CenterV2. So that means you can check CenterV2 online and offline status over here. The status over here, you will check that enable or disable. Okay. The client over here will show you how many GV-System connection in this CenterV2. You can check it. That means it's disabled. That means CenterV2 will not be able to provide a service over here. So it will turn, the text will turn into red over here. Okay. But when you start the connection here, that means the CenterV2 connection will be online again. The log over here is provided dispatch log. Okay, and this area is to display the CenterV2 connection log over here. So you can control the status to flag the CenterV2 event to provide the flag over here. Okay, since the log is available over here, so you can also query by type or by ID. The dispatch server provides log. You can check the status about the dispatch server, the connection over here, and the account, the login and the logout, to stop the account, to create an account over here, and also check the CenterV2 status over here. You will get all the CenterV2 events, the lifetime event, the real-time event over here. Okay, and also you can provide attachment for the remote vlog player. And additional is the flag. The bookmark, the critical event, if this is important for you. Okay. Dispatch server, they also provide a failover. The failover function means that if this dispatch server is failed, and you will get a second dispatch server running. So that means the second dispatch server will take over the current dispatch server. So make sure your balance work will not interrupt. You can check the configuration about the setting. You will get failover support here. You can simply provide the IP and provide the port, and you will get the second dispatch running when the first one is failed. Okay. This is automatically the transfer the second one, so you can predefine it. So make sure your dispatch server function will not fail. We will let you know more detail about the CenterV2 connection with dispatch server. You have to predefine CenterV2 account for your CenterV2 and dispatch server. Okay, so in this slide, you will show in the network location name over here. This will be the CenterV2 side, the location name, and this is the account name for dispatch server. It will show you the user interface for two different servers. CenterV2 here, you have to define location name that find the system configuration, and there is a network here. Location name here will be the account when you CenterV2 connection with dispatch server. Okay, so you have to predefine the location over here. let's check the dispatch server side. For dispatch server here, please find the subscriber here, the subscriber account over here, and you can add address book over here. Okay, and let's create a group first. Okay, then you can provide CenterV2 server, add server here. Okay, so after you serve it here, it will be the location name for your CenterV2. Let's back to the slide. We have to create account for your CenterV2 connection. So that means this account means GV, DVR, MVR, GvIP device. Okay, so it's same in the dispatch server. You have to create an account when your subscriber connection for your CenterV2. Since this account have to be logged into dispatch server directly, so you have to create all these accounts in dispatch server. This is a dispatch server UI, and you use account here. Create the account here. The login ID and password is the same. When you enter this ID and password, it have to be entered in your DVR MVR side when you make connection to CenterV2. Okay. Okay. So that is the same result here. Like we will use the sample here. Okay. You can provide the same ID and password, and you can provide detailed information, your name, address, your phone number over here. Okay. So after create an account here, and you will be able to make connection from your GV-System or GvIP device to your dispatch server. In this slide, we will have a little conclusion here about how to make connection from CenterV2 to dispatch server. Okay, the first step, you have to make sure that dispatch server have properly defined the username and password for your CenterV2, and you have to start service. Okay, we will show you in next section. Okay, and the second part, you have to try to identification code to use that in the CenterV2 side. Okay, this identification code have to be match your dispatch server. Then you restart CenterV2 to log in dispatch server. Okay, and after that, and finally you will make connection from GV-System or GvIP device to make connection to dispatch server. So that is all three steps about CenterV2 dispatch server and GV-System. We will show you the detail in next session. Okay, in next session we will demo how about the dispatch server connection with CenterV2. Okay, okay. And this is dispatch server setting here. After you enter the identification code here, you have to click OK. Okay, and if you click OK, remember to start the service in this icon. Okay. After you start service, the status will turn into the red icon over here. Okay. After you properly setting, the connection result will over here. Okay. We will show you the CenterV2 connection here. Okay, this is the location name. Okay, and this is dispatch server with identification code here. After you properly enter the IP address and port, and you click OK, and you have to restart. You have to restart the service in order to take it effect. Okay, so this time the CenterV2 login will match the connection with dispatch server directly. Okay, over here will show you the login information about dispatch server. Let's check the result here. So you will see the status about the online and the offline status, and you will get client, how many client connection over here. You can also view the CenterV2, the real-time CenterV2 log here. When it's a connection with subscriber, and also the status about the motion or attachment, you can try to click the information over here. And you can also bookmark an important message over here. Okay, this is very critical for you, so you can try to bookmark information over here. In this slide, we will show you how to make connection from GV-System to dispatch server. Before we make the connection, please make sure your CenterV2 and dispatch server are connected properly. Okay. Before we do the connection, you have to make sure your identification code here is match the dispatch server setting. So there have to be port 21112 and also the identification code have to be matched. So these two different settings is very important for your CenterV2 and dispatch server. We will show you the setting in next session. Okay, the CenterV2 here, the application name this defined will be the Asia. Okay, the Asia. And for the port 21112 here, over here, you will find the identification code here is 1234566. The testing for the example here. This is dispatch server setting here. Setting from the configure. And you will find the dispatch setting. The identification code here have to match your CenterV2 identification code. So that will be two settings for your CenterV2 and the dispatch server. See the Asia login right now because we have a connection properly. So you will see the CenterV2 server currently logging by IP, and with there is no client connection over here. In this slide, we will let you know how to make connection from GV-System to dispatch server. Okay, you have to make sure your CenterV2 session is properly connected with dispatch server. Then start to connection from GV-System. Okay, we will show you the detailed step by following session. We will use the VNS as the example here. Try to click the toolbar, network button, connect to CenterV2. Since the connection with the CenterV2 will go through the dispatch server, so please make sure you did change the port to 1112 as a default port here. And the IP will not, the CenterV2 IP is dispatch server IP here. Okay, so you can see we will use type A for the location login name here. Okay, so let's click OK, and we'll make sure the connection is started. Okay, after the connecting here, we can check the dispatch server setting. This is the dispatch server user interface. Okay. And we will check type A account here. Okay, so it currently is logged in right now. Okay, and you will find the type A account here is currently logged in, so the icon will turn into the light blue. And if the server is not logged in, the icon will be the red icon. Okay, so it's kind of different to display the location name by online or offline status. In this slide, we will show you how to make connection from Gvip device to dispatch server. Okay, since the dispatch server have to properly setting for Gvip device. So in this slide, we will show you the device setting here. The default port have to be 5551, and you have to click and to enable that option. This is the device setting about the connection with dispatch server. Okay, so you have to log in the GVIP device and find the CenterV2 session. Make sure you do enable properly the CenterV2 connection port and click OK to apply the connection. Okay, we will show you in next session. This is Sd220 Ipk Web Interface, and we will show you how to make connection from web interface to dispatch server. Okay, find the event here, and you will get a CenterV2 connection here. Then you will provide the IP, dispatch server IP. The port will be 5551 as a default port for GVIP device connection. And you provide the main get, username will define the main get as the login name. Okay, and after we click apply, it will start connection to the dispatch server. During the connection setting, if the connection successfully, you will get the connection status here. It will show you the connection day and time over here. And let's check the dispatch server setting here. Okay, let's check the setting for GvIP device here. Click configuration and you get a setting. There is an option to allow GvIP device to login subscriber from port 5551 as a default port. So you have to enable this one for your GvIP device login. Remember to click Start Service to make sure all the services are connected and monitored. Okay, right now you will see that all the subscribers are logging right now. This is the main gate that we define in Sd220 and turn into the light blue. Okay, so that means the connection is available right now. Hi. In this slide, we will show you that a case study about Bradesco Bank in Brazil. They have thousands of DVR and MVR installation in their branch office, and they have a GeoVision Center monitoring product such as CenterV2, dispatch, and control center. The main purpose for their CenterV2 applying is to monitoring for the night for the people, unattended people walking around in the bank area or the ATM. Okay, so that means that any unattended object or unattended people over the ATM, in front of the ATM in the night, they have an alarm event in CenterV2. So the operator can just focus on these unattended people over there, so they can verify if this is kinds of object that you have to pay attention. And they also have a 24 hours monitoring like control center for monitoring for all the main gate that for the bank area. So there are 24 hours uninterrupted monitoring for control center. Okay, they did use all of GeoVision Central monitoring the product. The control center for live monitoring and the CenterV2 and dispatch for event alert message, and you can verify the event immediately. So actually, this is kind of case that's a real case as connection by the internet with the central monitoring products. This is the FAQ session, and we will let you know the question that we have been asked from other customers. They want to know if there is any possible for the GV system have monitoring by separate different CenterV2. Okay, and the answer is yes. The GV system, that means GV DVR MVR and the GVIP device and GV-VMS, you are allowed to connect two CenterV2 simultaneously. That means the GV system will send alert event to these two CenterV2 at the same time. That means if one of your CenterV2 disconnect, you still have a second location, the CenterV2 still under monitoring for your GV system. This is the end of the training. For any latest software download, you may check our website by www.geovision.com.tw. For any question you may have, you can email to support@geovision.com.tw. Thank you.